Have you ever heard about game theory? No, not the Mad Pack kind. The one that has and is dictating relationships between countries and animals, and that should be used in the future. A great video that explores this topic is What Game Theory Reveals About Life, the Universe, and Everything from the Veritasium YouTube channel, and why tit for tat is the best philosophy to live by. The video begins with the beginning of the Soviet-US conflict. At this time, some scientists came up with a simple game called the Prisoner's Dilemma. I'll have the Veritasium YouTube channel explain it from here.
That same year, two mathematicians at Rand had invented a new game, one which, unbeknownst to them at the time, closely resembled the US-Soviet conflict. This game is now known as the Prisoner's Dilemma. So, let's play a game. A banker with a chest full of gold coins invites you and another player to play against each other. You each get two choices. You can cooperate, or you can defect. If you both cooperate, you each get 3 coins. If one of you cooperates but the other defects, then the one who defected gets 5 coins and the other gets nothing. And if you both defect, then you each get a coin. The goal of the game is simple, to get as many coins as you can.
This is the basis of game theory. Soon, a professor named Professor Axelrod decided to make a tournament under these rules. Each contestant would make a strategy and submit it. Then, they would compete for points. There were 14 strategies, but the best one was tit for tat, where you'd simply copy their last move. For example, if they cooperate, you cooperate. If they retaliate, you retaliate once. After a little bit, a second tournament with more strategies was held, but once again, tit for tat was the winner. Over time, more and more experiments were run using ecology and more games, and tit for tat was still the best one. The rest of the video goes on to talk about why it's important to know about tit for tat and other strategies. While what game theory reveals about life, the universe, and everything is a great watch that provides lots of information from many verified sources and has very compelling examples of how it would work in theory, there aren't enough specific examples of tit for tat being used in real-world scenarios. Aww. What are the verified sources, you may be asking? Why did they pay for Twitter Blue, or whatever it's called now? As far as I know, they didn't pay for that stuff. They just put in the work. For example, in the video, Derek, the creator of Veritasium, has this man come in. His name is
We're being joined.
Hey, my God, there's Professor Axelrod.
Hey, there's Steven Stewart.
Whoa, what a treat this is.
And I imagine initially it'd be sort of like computer chess where you need a pretty complicated program to play a sophisticated game.
He also has another scientist that is well-versed in game theory, Professor Strogatz.
Invited some of the world's leading game theorists from many different subjects to submit computer programs that would play each other.
Derek himself has a PhD in physics education research and a bachelor's in engineering physics. If you can't trust people doing the studies when they have qualifications like these, then, well, you can't trust these people? How does tit for tat work in theory then? Derek provides many examples of how it could work. He provides examples like these.
Impalas, living in between African woodlands and savannas, are prone to catching ticks, which can lead to infectious diseases, paralysis, even death. So it's important for impalas to remove ticks, and they do this by grooming. But they can't reach all the spots on their bodies, and therefore they need another impala to groom them. Now, grooming someone else comes at a cost. It costs saliva, electrolytes, time, and attention, all vital resources under the hot African sun, where a predator could strike at any moment. So for the other impala, it would be best not to pay this cost. But then again, it too will need help grooming. So all impalas face a choice. Should they groom each other or not? In other words, should they cooperate or defect? Some argue that this could explain how we went from a world full of completely selfish organisms, where every organism only cared about themselves, to one where cooperation emerged and flourished. From impalas grooming each other to fish cleaning sharks. Many life forms experience conflicts similar to the prisoner's dilemma, but because they don't interact just once, both can be better off by cooperating. And this doesn't require trust or conscious thought either, because the strategy could be encoded in DNA. As long as it performs better than the other strategies, it can take over a population.
But also an example of how it might not work because of a noisy world.
Like in 1983, the Soviet satellite-based early warning system detected the launch of an intercontinental ballistic missile from the US. But the US hadn't launched anything. The Soviet system had confused sunlight reflecting off high-altitude clouds with a ballistic missile. Thankfully, Stanislav Petrov, the Soviet officer on duty, dismissed the alarm. But this example shows the potential costs of a signal error and the importance of studying the effects of noise on those strategies.
These are to show how tit for tat can work even with some problems. However, some more examples of it working in the lives of individuals would be better. They have the numbers, they have how it can work with governments and other massive entities. There's an unfortunate lack of examples on the individual human level. These would help with seeing how it could affect you personally and adding more onto why you should use tit for tat, or any other strategy for that matter. It's truly sad that they don't have these, even though the general idea gets across really well, and I have to nitpick for this assignment. Thanks for watching this half-baked rhetorical analysis on a mostly educational video. I hope this shows you why this video is trustworthy and why we should use game theory in our daily lives to help us with social interactions. Remember, always be kind, but don't be a pushover. But that's just a theory, a game theory. Thanks for watching.